I'm seeking to appoint Warren Redlick without objection to Sergeant at Arms. There's Mr. Redlick right there.
All right.
Are there any objections? You are so appointed, sir. Okay. Convention Credentials Committee, Suzanne, you have the floor.
Okay, we did not rehearse this. I just call the roll.
Call roll.
Okay. He thought I was ready. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this in two parts then. Joshua Arnone. Well, if he's not here, he's
Must
not
be
here.
present.
What?
He's not here.
He's not here.
Are you getting the feedback?
Benjamin Backrack. Here. Amy Baum. Pete Blum. Here. Gregory Bowen. Here. Charles Braden.
Here.
Marana Carteret. Philippe Carteret. Here. James Campbell. Audrey Capozzi. Michael Chesser. James Chipman. Chapman, sorry. Brian Cole. William Copps. Dick Creamer. Here. Dana Cummings. Present. Ashley DeWitt. Carl Dickey. Here. Amanda Dillon. Dale Doling. Happy to be here. Abigail DuBairn. Sasha DuBairn. Caitlin Dutton. Robert Enright. Joshua Folsom. Here. Make sure I'm getting these right. Allison Foxall. Here. Robert Frank. Here. Marty Alexandra Garcia. Shane George. Here. Susan George. Lawrence Gillis. Here. Suzanne Gilmore is here. Amanda Gluck. Martin Gold. Lawrence Goff. Here. Keon Grayson. Jason Hamlin. Vincent Hanna. Jason Hartgrave. Here. Matthew Hazelton. Travis Hearn. Brandy Hicks. Here. Gabe Higgins. Here. Michael Higgs. Here. Ralph Horton. Lynn House. Here. Chuck House.
Here.
Thank you. Augustus Invictus. Robert Inzerillo. Joseph Jacobs. Wayne Jackman. What? James Jensen. Macy John. Michael Kane. Lee Karatzer. Philip Levy. Guy Langsdale. Robert Lapham. Dave Levitt. George Leibovitz. Verlin Lewis. Artie Lane. Artie Lane. Lori, yes, that's right.
I'm here, but I remain silent.
Okay, sorry, it's so small. Just to get these names in here, it's like 16 pages. Marcos Marrero. Karen McCandless. Did I hear somebody? Karen McCandless? No? Jody McMasters. Thank you. Jessica Mears. Amy Meek. No Amy Meek, right? Okay. Marcos Miralles. At least I know how to pronounce that one. Richard Molick. Eric Moore. James Morris is here. Joel Mountain. James Neely. Okay, we're almost 2/3 of the way through. Stephen Nikala. Philip Neptune. Rob O'Brien. Daryl O'Kane. Raquel Oke. Kevin O'Neill. John Pierce. Ryan Ramsey. Thank you. James Ray. Omar Requero. Peter Richter. Carlos Rodriguez. Ricardo Rodriguez. Ronald Rollins. Robert Schlottman. Thank you. Ronald Schnell. Tony Sellers.
You know who he is.
Yeah. Christina Sieg. Alex Snicker. Paul Stanton. Lawrence Stone. Deanna Svoboda. James Tall. Mark Tanser. Jean-Luc Teske. Jason Thompson. John Thompson. Raquel Toombs. Donnie Torok. William Turnage. Darlene Underwood. Joe Vaccarino. Michael Vaccarino. Ahi Sahar Vargas. Victor Velez. Joseph Wendt.
Here.
Sorry. Kenneth Willie.
Here.
David Weisberg. Beatrix Wood. John Russwood.
Here.
Matthew Wright.
Here.
Robert Fernandez. And now I have to paste the others from this morning, if you'll give me just a minute. Joshua Curtis. Marcia Powell. Martin Globe. Maxwell Getz. Luis Rivera. All right. Now I'm going to need to do some tallying. It's going to take a few minutes, folks. Hmm?
Carry on.
Lots of paper.
Yeah. It doesn't have an automatic tally on it like his fancy ones. Huh? Okay, what is it? Okay. What? What's his name? He'll need to tell me who he is and... Yes, thank you. I don't have that automatic tallying that you do. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
She didn't call your name, let me write your name down.
She did. I just apparently had just stepped out right when she told my name, right at the beginning of the.
What was the name?
So Amy Baum, B-A-U-M.
Amy, B-A-U-M.
Yes.
Bill Sadler. Okay.
9,
Anybody else named that you need called? Yes. Gabriel.
40,
Okay, thank you for letting me read it.
42.
Hey, Michael. Morning.
N-I-A-K. Got it.
today?
Thank you. Michael, they didn't call your name out either?
Bless
Okay.
you, son of a gun.
52, 53,
Bryant.
54.
Got it. All right. So I wrote those names down.
One moment, tell him, I just lost count.
That's it.
I don't talk to her.
Back to Doling. Okay, we'll start
What was
over.
your names called? What was your name?
If you didn't get called, just please tell him.
Just tell me and
while
I'll
I
write your name
count.
down.
He got called when he was absent, the first person.
Joshua what?
Tell him.
Arnone.
Come over here. I can't see. I'm trying to. Thank you. Arone. Got it. Okay. And Stacy was called. You already called you.
No, I wasn't called on the list. And
Stacy last name. Selig.
12.
and Susie Stamp.
Susie
It's
Stamp.
what it is.
Okay. Anybody else?
Michelle Bryant, you're what ENT.
Michelle Bryant. Okay. Just trying to keep them away from you.
I'm gonna have to get Charles to help me do the
What you
thing.
want me to add those together for you?
No. Oh my God, this is killing me. I keep losing count. My head's not straight. Six is later. Add this name, Hearn, to your list. right. 79.
Hey, James, what's going on?
79 plus.
I'll write you down. I'll write your name.
Okay, so now we add in the ones.
Is this mic picking me up? Oh, no, it's okay.
Amy Baum.
I don't know.
79.
Okay. Amy Baum is a yes. So that's
What? That makes 80. We called your name, didn't you?
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's here. She came in here. We
Okay, so
came in
Bill
late.
Sadler, I do not know who that is.
Bill Sadler.
I do not know who
All right.
that is.
All right.
So we can mark that he is not registered as a delegate.
Correct. Gabriel Wolzenak. Yes, I know.
Yes,
These are names of people. They
Yeah,
come
I
up here and
called
say-
him and he
okay,
said
all right.
yes.
All right, Mike. Okay, so scratch that one.
Brian.
Michael Bryant.
Michelle. There's
Michelle
a Michael
Bryant.
and a Michelle.
Oh, yes,
Is it
right.
Michelle?
Michelle, female.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, right, because she,
What?
is she a
Human Green Lane.
delegate?
I don't think so.
Are you trying to determine the number of people here for quorum? The best way to do it is to ask delegates to stand up and count their heads.
What's the name?
Give him your name, Keon.
Keon,
I'm sorry, I don't hear it well.
Keon, K-E-O-N.
K-E-O-N.
Grayson, G-R-A-Y-S-O-N.
Grayson. Keon Grayson, got it.
Okay, Michelle Bryant is one.
Joshua
Jason-
Arnaud. Jason or Joshua Arnaud or something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's it.
And, you know, it's more than a quorum if she wants to know. Yeah, we got him. Okay, that's
Stacy
another one.
Selleck.
And Stacy Selleck is going to be added because she was not on the list.
All right.
Okay.
Susie something. Stance, Susie Stance. Stanton. Susie. I don't even see a Susie Stanton. There's a Susie Stance. Susie Stanley.
She's an observer. She's not a
Okay,
delegate.
all right.
If she's a delegate, I didn't get
All right,
notice
that's
of
fine.
it.
All right, Michelle Bryant, we already got her. James Ray, he's here. James Ray is here. And then you got Keon Grayson. Keon Grayson.
Well, what happened was I asked people if they wanted 2 minutes. And they,
There he is. There you go.
79 plus 6 is 85.
Okay. Can we tell Charlotte? Charlotte?
Yeah.
All right, Charlotte. 85.
And we need to announce that this Bill Sandler needs to come back up because I don't have him registered.
Bill Sadler. Can you come up here, please, Bill Sadler?
We don't have Mr. Sandler registered as a delegate. Are you here as an observer or a delegate? Pardon? A delegate. Did you pre-register?
There's nobody here when I arrived this morning.
Did you register previously?
Mark? Hey, Mark.
Okay.
We do not have you, the registration, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Mark's answer.
We have someone who's not pre-registered.
Who said he was a delegate and was someone else registered for?
Mark Tanser took care of it.
This gentleman,
I'm Bill
Mr.
Sadler. Okay, but. Did you register? I personally did.
He said Mark registered for him, but when he got here, the registration desk was already closed. But he says he registered, he is not on my list of,
So what do I have? Credential in or that? That's all we can do.
Or you make it
Do
provisional.
have to do it right now or not?
are you an LPF member?
Yes.
And an LPF voter?
Yes, I am.
Do you want to hold it up?
Oh, I've been around for a while.
if you want to verify him, then
Just show us your voter registration. You got that?
I'm sure I don't think I have it, but I just.
That's the only way we had to verify it right now is if you got the registration. That's
That's
national.
not it.
I understand that.
Okay, thank you.
I was looking for that this morning.
We'll just put you as a provisional right now.
Yeah, put me in as provisional.
Provisional.
I'll see if I can.
Yeah.
But I've, been very active.
I understand.
Chair of my local lobby.
If you just don't, it's just paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. That's all it is. We'll make sure we get your name down there. Bill Sadler, right?
Sadler, yeah. S-A-D-L-E-R.
All right. Let's see.
I need your voter ID number.
Okay, I'll get that.
If you can get that for us, that'd be great.
I can't count you as a delegate till I have your voter ID and I verify that you're an LPF voter.
All right. We're gonna put you down as provisional right now.
That's all we can do. Okay.
Got you down as provisional. All right. Thank you. All right.
Madam Secretary?
Wow, it's not even totaling properly. Okay, good thing I didn't rely on that.
All right.
So we have
You have 85.
85 and one provisional.
Right.
Yes.
Since having West Benedict speak has nothing to do with what they're trying to do, why don't we bring that forward?
I'll
We're
do that at
done.
the agenda.
We're done.
Okay, everybody. Everybody, please, order. All right.
All right. That's
Madam Secretary, if you would, the convention credentials report.
We show 85 delegates present plus one provisional delegate.
Okay. How many were registered?
We have 124 delegates registered.
85 is more than half that. We have a quorum. That is established. Okay. Good morning, everybody.
morning.
I would say this reflects a little bit of some of this year. Okay. 85. 43 is the majority. Welcome. I'm going to keep my comments to something exceptionally short, and then I'm going to get on with item number 5. I thank everybody for showing up and helping us out here. It's taken a lot to get it this far. We've really had to pull this together essentially at the last minute on a lot of things. People have been working very hard on this. That I'm just going to leave it at that because we're short on time here. So without anything other than that, I'm going to ask Mr. West Benedict to come on up and address the keynote. I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered. Mr. Benedict, please.
Thank you, and it's Charles Braden, correct?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me here, and thanks for serving as the chair of the Libertarian Party of Florida. My name is Wes Benedict. I serve as the... Thank you. I serve, and can y'all hear me in the back? Okay. I serve as the executive director of the Libertarian National Committee based just outside of Washington, D.C. in Alexandria, Virginia. Libertarians stand for free markets, civil liberties, and peace. Some people call us fiscally conservative and socially liberal, but I'm not really sure the terms conservative or liberal really mean anything specific. Basically, libertarians stand for free markets, low taxes, free trade. We're for freedom on economic issues. We're also for freedom on personal issues. You should be able to do anything you want as long as you're not hurting other people. Let me give you some examples of that. Personal freedoms. On the weekend, you might go to a Catholic or Baptist church or a Jewish synagogue, or you might be Muslim. You might, after church, have a nice juicy hamburger, go jogging, hit the gun range, then go home, watch a football game, and drink some beer. Or you might wake up late on Saturday morning, do some yoga, smoke some marijuana, go to your gay friend's wedding where they only serve vegetarian hors d'oeuvres. There are all kinds of people in the Libertarian Party. We respect the rights of all kinds of people to do whatever it is they want to do as long as they're not hurting other people. Back before I ever even heard of the Libertarian Party, I used to sit around with friends and argue about politics. We'd start drinking beer and we'd talk about things and argue, and we'd have more and more beer, and it'd get later and later, and we'd get louder and louder as the night went on. Anybody ever done that?
Never, 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 never.
It was almost always fun. But the one thing we almost never did was change each other's minds. One time I was on a project. I used to be an engineer. I worked on a project in South Africa for 6 months. And I argued with the same guy for 6 months. And we never changed each other's minds. Not long after that, I went back to school to get an MBA. And I decided I wanted to get involved in politics. But if I wanted to change the world, I was going to have to find a faster way to get things done. If I spent 6 months arguing with one guy and didn't change his mind, how am I going to change the world? You know, I'm smart. I'm an engineer focused on productivity. I was working on getting an MBA. MBAs also are focused on productivity. I got to find a way to convert more than one person for 6 months. Or actually, it was 0 every 6 months. That was my track record. Shortly after arriving on the University of Michigan campus where I was working on the MBA, I came across a Libertarian outreach booth where they gave me the world's smallest political quiz. And I scored pretty Libertarian. I wasn't completely Libertarian, but I was pretty far into the Libertarian zone. Around that time, I also remember a guy, an economist, Milton Friedman, a great free market economist. I remember reading that he said he's not a conservative, he's a libertarian. And so I kind of took this quiz and saw I leaned libertarian. I remember that word libertarian. I wasn't sure what it meant. So I started researching that on the website. I found the Libertarian Party website, and I was really fascinated with the things I read. I agreed with a lot of it. I ended up joining pretty soon after that, and I was really motivated. So now, when I got together with my friends, instead of trying to convince these people to be Republican and join the Republican Party, we would stay up late, drinking beer, arguing, and I'd try and convince them to become libertarians, right? And guess what? That worked about as well as the things I've been doing before. Shortly after joining the Libertarian Party, I actually did change my views on a lot of issues. I had been a Republican. I knew about free markets, freedom, free trade, low regulation, all that kind of stuff. I wasn't really that big into civil liberties. I associated civil liberties with Democrats, and I knew that I hated Democrats. Democrats were all liars, evil, unethical, whereas Republicans were always good. You could trust them. They were just ethical, honest people like Rush Limbaugh. So anytime I heard something about civil liberties, I just tuned it out. I disagreed. I hated it. I didn't like the people talking about it. I was not open to those ideas. But now I'm hearing these libertarians, people that I agreed with on cutting taxes or eliminating taxes. They also agreed should have the right to have guns. really good people, and these same people start talking about civil liberties as well. They also start opening my eyes on what are the downsides of getting involved in military involvements around the world. Whereas I was not open to anything that Democrats or someone that I associated as being liberal saying, I was actually quite open to libertarians presenting a lot of those same ideas. It didn't take me long to change my mind on just about every idea, and I now consider myself completely libertarian on every issue. We can argue about exactly what completely libertarian means, but I am completely libertarian. And it's not just because it's my job to be a libertarian, I get paid to do that or say that. I actually believe all of the libertarian policies.
Take that.
Excuse me. So I found out about the libertarians, and through reading things like LP News and the website, I also started hearing about other libertarian organizations. The Cato Institute was one. I'd kind of heard of them before. I didn't realize they were libertarian, and I was excited that there were these think tanks out there with lots of research and information on the policies that we supported and agreed with. So I actually donated $500 to the Cato Institute and started getting all these reports. And a lot of them were 30-page reports, and it seemed like I'd get about 2 to 3 a week. And I was actually reading most of them. And I felt like, you know, I'm learning so much, and I was excited about all this stuff. But again, that thing about productivity kept coming back to me, and I'm thinking, you know, I can read all these reports about privatizing Social Security or cutting regulations here and there, and I can be the greatest expert in the world on every issue that's libertarian, and by the time I'm 99, I will know everything, and then I will probably die, and I wouldn't have changed a thing in the world. So I still wasn't quite there yet on how to make a difference. After finishing graduate school, I moved on to Georgia. I actually decided I want to get active and show up and start doing things. I went to a meeting. There were 2 gentlemen there. I was a bit disappointed. You know, we had to do more. When I first showed up, I was one of those brand new, arrogant. I mean, I just got an MBA. There's nothing more arrogant than an MBA who just got his degree and shows up to a meeting and who's young, you know, and is ready to get things done. But I ended up working with the gentlemen who were there. We grew our meetings to having, instead of just 2 or 3, we had about 15 there every month. From there, I moved to Texas, ran for office a few times. That's where I really found out the value of running for office, how much impact you can have by being a candidate, a Libertarian Party candidate, and running for office. Instead of running around trying to find people to talk to or just arguing with the same few friends, suddenly you start getting invited to public forums, to neighborhood associations, to other political groups, and they ask you to speak. You don't have to organize the event. You just show up, and now you can share your libertarian views. It's a very easy, nice way to get out there and talk to lots of people. Another thing, when I was just a county chair and wasn't focused on candidates, I had trouble finding things that we could do that would make a difference. I was ready to work, ready to spend money, ready to put people to work, but couldn't find good projects for us to do. Well, once you're running for office or you have candidates running for office, now you can say, hey, please donate to this candidate. Please give them some money. And let's buy a whole bunch of door hangers, yard signs, brochures, whatever. Let's get together, go in your neighborhood and put them up. If you can't come out and help when I'm ready to organize this, you can do it on your own time, anytime. That's one of the great values of running for office and being a candidate. I was so convinced of that when I ended up serving as the Libertarian Party of Texas Executive Director, I made recruiting candidates my #1 sole focus. And in 2006, I got over 250 people to turn in applications to run for office in Texas. And Texas had the earliest filing period in the nation. Thank you. Texas had the earliest filing period in the nation, and it was only 30 days long. It was like from December 2nd to January 1st of the upcoming election season. So their period for this season is already over. Now, all 270 applications didn't make it all the way to the November elections. It was whittled down. We had our own internal primaries. But in the end, there were 168 candidates on the ballot. Those candidates got tons of press. Yes, some were more interesting than others. Some were very conservative sounding. Some were liberal sounding. Some were crazy sounding, what have you. But we had 168. It was a huge team. We got lots of press. I was not concerned that we had one or two or three that might say something I didn't agree with. We were a big team. We were a robust, big group that was going to stand there and be strong on libertarian issues, and we didn't have to worry about what other people said about us. That year we ended up getting something like 7 million votes for libertarians in Texas. If you added up all the votes we got for candidates in Texas, it was more than the rest of the nation combined. So that was the value of recruiting all those candidates. I like when libertarians run for office and win, but even if you are running a campaign that you might not win that election, you can have a positive impact on public policy. Libertarians are out there leading the way. 10 years ago, people used to laugh at us when we talked about legalizing marijuana, ending the war on drugs. Now it's happening all over the country. Libertarians were leaders. Libertarians running for Congress, running for president, have been leaders on that issue for decades, and we are winning on that issue. People used to laugh at us when we talked about gay marriage. They'd think we were crazy. What are you talking about? Gay marriage is now legal nationwide. Libertarians led that effort. Win or lose, libertarians change policy when we get on the ballot or when we do anything to promote our policies. I think it's important to stay true to our principles. Sometimes we waver. Sometimes we get timid. Sometimes we're afraid people might laugh at us or disagree with us. They might think we say things that are controversial. Well, let me tell you 3 recent controversial statements. Donald Trump said, "I like eminent domain," and he's winning the Republican primary. It's controversial to say, it's controversial to be a Republican and say, "I like eminent domain." It's great. Bernie Sanders says, "I'm a socialist, a democratic socialist." He's given Hillary Clinton a run for her money. Ted Cruz went to Iowa and he said, "I'm against subsidies for corn." You're not supposed to say that in Iowa. Ted Cruz said that. That's the one thing I agree with. And he won the caucuses in Iowa. He won. The bad guys are being bold and getting away with it. Libertarians, the good guys, need to be bold as well. I'm not running for Congress or president. Thank you. But if I was, here are a few of the things that I'd like to say. It's time for an adult conversation on Social Security. It costs too much. Some of you feel like you paid into Social Security and now you should get all of that money back. I'm sorry, but that's not possible. That money is gone. You elected Republicans and Democrats who already spent all of that money. You can't unspend it any more than you can unblow up a bomb. The only way to pay you back is to raise taxes on your children. That's not what responsible adults should do. We might not be able to eliminate the Social Security problem overnight, but we can start taking steps right away. Social Security is 1/4 of the federal budget. We can raise the retirement age. We have to spend less on Social Security payments. Instead of a 2% annual cost of living increase, we should start a 2% cut in the size of paychecks that seniors receive. I'm skeptical of so-called privatization schemes for Social Security. I'm worried that those might just turn into another financial instrument that needs a bailout sometime in the future. Those kind of things make accountants and bankers rich when the market's going up. And then when it goes down, like with the savings and loan crisis, or the recent housing crisis, or the upcoming student loan crisis, those banks and institutions will come to taxpayers and ask for a bailout. They'll say, our Social Security savings is too important to let it fail. They'll want a bailout. We can't just create wealth out of thin air by making up new financial instruments. The only way to ensure our children's future where they're not totally in debt and a growing and growing and ever-growing debt is to cut the spending on Social Security. I'm not talking about eliminating it overnight. It's bold and controversial for anyone to say we should cut the size of a Social Security check by 2%. But that's not ridiculously impossible. It's realistic, and libertarians need to lead the way on that conversation. A few more things. I know we're running late, and I'm going to get this done in about 3 minutes. America spends more on the military than the next 9 nations combined. We spend way too much. We're involved in too many wars overseas. We should not have gone into Iraq and Afghanistan. The Soviet Union went into Afghanistan, and they finally cut and run. We need to bring our troops home. We need to cut the size of our military budget by 20, 30, 40% or more. Maybe we can't do it in 1 year, but we can do it in a few years. It's time to legalize marijuana nationwide. America has the highest incarceration rate in the world, not just in the industrialized world. We have more people in prison than even third world countries and dictatorships. A lot of that is due to the war on drugs. A lot of the provisions in the Patriot Act, the so-called Patriot Act, are being used to spy on citizens, to spy on us. We need to end the war on drugs, get rid of the excuse for the government to spy on us. We can close prisons. We'll have less violence. We'll need fewer jails. We will save money. We can give ourselves a tax cut by ending the war on drugs. Libertarians have always supported free trade, international free trade. We still support that. Milton Friedman, that economist I talked about earlier, he used to talk about unilateral free trade. The great thing about free trade and a unilateral free trade is you don't need free trade agreements to make it happen. Free trade is good for the countries that allow it. Even if America is the one country in the world with free trade and every other country has tariffs, quotas, all kinds of trade restrictions, that will make America the wealthiest country in the world, and all the rest will be hurt because of their own internal restrictions. I don't know the exact percentages, but it's something like 80 to 90% of the damage of trade restrictions happen to the host country that does it. When we raise our tariffs, when we raise our quotas, most of that damage happens to ourselves. Now the thing is, we almost have free trade right now. We actually have relatively free trade here in America. That's a good thing. We do not need a trade war. We do not need a strong negotiator to go out there and negotiate with other countries. When you negotiate, especially behind closed doors, you talk to the rich and wealthy and powerful. People with who in control of large corporations or businesses get together with these negotiators and carve out great deals for themselves. That's a recipe for corruption and bad trade law. We don't need bad trade policies. We do not need corruption. We do not need a skilled, strong, negotiating bully to negotiate our trade deals. We just need the United States Congress to say, we support free trade here in America. It's not an outrageous thing. There are other places that have already done that have done it for decades. Places like Hong Kong, Singapore have free trade. Even some of the democratic socialist countries in Northern Europe, like Norway, Sweden, they have high taxes, they have lots of welfare, they have government health care, but they're still relatively wealthy countries, and a lot of that is because they have free trade. We have free trade here. We should not lose that. I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you all for coming here. Thank you for being a libertarian. Thank you for participating. And please go out there and be a strong, principled, bold libertarian. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What? Oh, am I live? Oh, okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay, let's just get on to this. Let's see. Looking for item 6 on the agenda, approval of agenda without objection. However, so I'm going to put that forward without objection, and then I'm going to object. And I'm going to suggest that in the interest of time, that we strike item 9, which is a bunch of committee reports. That should help bring us back into compliance with the agenda. And I've got a second here. Is there any discussion on that strike? Any of our committee people, any committee chairs about to go cataclysmic or anything? Yeah, and you can, the question is will the reports be available, and the answer is I have not requested that they make written reports. These were oral reports, and they were brought out more as an option from those committee chairs, so I would approach them directly. All in favor of this agenda change? All opposed? Okay, that is struck. Are there any other objections?
Do we still have want to include the vice chair's report?
Well, considering she's not
Want to
here,
strike that as well? And
You motion to strike
secretary is
that?
willing to waive her report as well.
So is the treasurer.
Treasurer, I think we need.
you can't get out of that. Okay, you made a motion to strike the vice chair's report? Sir? Yes. That's what we just voted on. Say again? Yes. Yes, we did, Dale. Greg Bowen did. I don't think we need to strike the vice chairs or whatever, because she's not here. She just can't get it.
Okay.
We'll just move on.
All right.
Any other objections to this agenda? All right. Seeking unanimous consent to accept this agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any opposed? Okay. Agenda is approved. First call for nominations from the floor for the EC positions. We are looking for nominations for secretary. You may nominate yourself.
I'll nominate Suzanne.
Suzanne Gilmore. Anybody else for secretary? Okay. Anybody? Okay. Nominations for treasurer?
I'd like to nominate James Morris.
James Morris. Anybody else for treasurer? Okay, anybody else? All right. Nominations for at-large Director 1. No, say the name again? Kevin O'Neill, okay.
Do we need the name of the person?
No.
We don't? Okay. Just,
Allison Foxall? Any other nominations for at-large 1? Okay. Nominations for at-large 2? Russ Wood, okay. Okay. Russ Wood and Joseph Wint. Any others? Very well. There will be another call for this a little later. Okay, we'll move on to item 8, officers' reports. Secretary report will be first. Madam Secretary.
in the essence of time, just reporting, it's been 2 short months since I became secretary. We processed all these delegates, and we got most of the affiliates re-affiliated except for 5. I understand that's a pretty good record. So we're just continuing to work. We're putting together a how-to manual so that we've gotten a lot of people saying, I don't know how to start an affiliate. I don't know how to find something in the forums. I don't know who to contact. We're trying to put that together for you so that the whole process becomes much easier and more seamless. And that's all I have to report.
All right.
Yes, you're recognized. Our Kelly's here now. Okay, when we take a break and return from the break, we can then move to seat her at that time. Were there any, I'll open for like 2 questions. Any questions at all for the Secretary? All right, thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Treasurer?
All right. Mr. Clumsy here. All right, my report is on the forum, LPF forum, but 2016 monthly donations. March, we had $940 in donations, and we spent $1,326. Just to give you an idea. But in January, our closing balance was $30,000, and our March closing balance was $37,000. So we are making money on this. We've collected around $13,000 for this convention, so we should have enough money to pay for it and make a few dollars afterwards. Pretty much, we do not have the amount of donations that were coming in that we used to have. We need to get that increased. Right now, we average about $450 to $500 a month in donations. We need to have around $1,100 to $1,500 a month just to pay our bills and to be solvent and to grow. Just my report for the LP convention.
Okay, any questions for the Treasurer? Okay. Mr. Treasurer, thank you. All right, the Chair's report. Oh, the hot seat. It's been a heck of a year. The issues that we're seeing here, I would like to say, are actually a sign of something good, and it's not obvious. These are growing pains that we're experiencing. So if things seem to dry out or something, we have more delegates today than we had last year. These are growing pains.
Yes.
And I don't really want to dwell on the past. There's been a lot of changes. I think probably most everybody in this room is familiar with what has transpired over the year. To me, I'm a very forward-thinking chair, so most of my thoughts are let's learn from the past and move forward. We have new people in the party, we have new ideas, and we have to figure out how to best use those to move our ideals forward and to get our ideas out in front of people. We can't have the experience of talking for 6 months and converting nobody. So we'll have to learn from those things too and get out there. And that's where I would say we really need to focus on what the party should be focused on, and that's getting people to run for office. So that's what we're really focused on here as the Chair's report, as really what we're doing to build we have, most of the affiliates have come back. That's a paperwork issue that's imposed upon us by the state. Those affiliates didn't dry up and blow away. They just didn't turn in their paperwork. We actually have more affiliates. We have an affiliate in Gulf County. We've never had an affiliate there. So we're growing. We have more members now than we've ever had. We have a better technology. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that probably would have been said in the committee reports. We have better technology now than we've ever had. If you look at the website, you might think, oh, yeah, sure. Don't look at it on your phone yet. It's coming. It'll be mobile ready. It's not mobile ready yet, but if you look at it on the big site, it's there, and there's more data on there than ever before. And it's made so that we can manage it with a bigger team so it doesn't all fall on one person. We now have better communication tools internally with Slack and other things. We have better presentations. So we're doing a lot of things forward thinking. It's not all just, oh, paper and stuff. That's very 1980s and so on. The events committee. We've had more events come up in the last couple of months than we've had in a long time. And we're very forward thinking. Russ would have said, and I'm going to put words in your mouth now, Russ. He would have said, we're aiming for one event a week at a minimum somewhere in the state. We've never had that kind of thing. And we're aiming to have a person on the events committee from every region so that when things are happening local, we can react as an organization. I would love to see something happening in Pensacola and in Key West at the same time. We're a big state. We can totally do that. So we're putting that together, and we have people who have been doing it. We're just going to keep building on that success. The Rules Committee, I'm going to talk quickly about that. They really pulled a lot of stuff together and had some very long discussions about the organizing documents, the Constitution, bylaws, and that sort of thing. And you're going to see some motions come from those meetings. We had very long meetings, and we had a lot of people really go over every angle of these things and consider them as best we could. Hopefully you will have read some of those things ahead of time. They're on that LPF convention website. And we've almost universally had a lot of these things happen at the last minute, but that happened much more forward thinking. And Dana's staying on, unless she's just changed her mind recently. And she's going to be pushing forward to have this so that next year we have this even more advanced. Is that correct, Dana, or did I just put words in your mouth? Yeah, well, your term didn't expire, so unless you just resigned. Yeah. Yeah, fortunately, we're on the second floor. You'll still survive. So, but we have had some challenges, and this is where the forward part, where we have to start looking. The selection committee has had some real challenges with people not stepping up to serve. We need some help there. The platform committee did some great work, but it was essentially a committee of one or two if you're generous. So we need some help there. We actually need help on the candidates committee, something fierce. We're going to be having candidates. It's an election year, you might have heard. And we have candidates in this room. And right now we need a chair of that committee, and we need people who will be willing to go out and find volunteers and do things and help our campaigns out there. So there's a lot of growth happening, and there's a lot of opportunities out there. When you leave here today, and this is where I would want to really go, when you leave here today, don't think that you've done everything there is to do with the LPF and you'll come back next year and it'll be fun. Really think that this is the beginning. This is the springboard. We're electing executive committee, and we're going to be setting that stage to move forward into 2016. It is my firm belief that the old parties are shedding voters just as fast as they can do it. They are dedicated to the proposition of destroying themselves. And I say we help them. And we help them by being involved. And we help them by getting on committees and working locally. We have those new affiliates because people stepped up and did it. If you're in an unaffiliated county, definitely consider doing that. Talk to one of us. If you're in an affiliated county, get involved. If you know people, bring them. I like to say that it's a step. It's a 1, 2, 3. You find one other person, 2 events a year, and $3 a month, and that's it. That would double our size if everybody just found one other person. So that's my report, and I will take a few questions if anybody has any. Yes, please. Yeah. Oh, it has to be appended, huh? Oh. I understand. So those nominations were out of order then? Well, I apologize. I thought we could do that. That's why I put it on there. Okay, my mistake. Well, that's no fun.
What are we gonna do over again?
Yes. Okay, so the question is, could we make an advisory vote? And it's funny you'd say that because that was the exact move I was going to make. Because I intentionally didn't appoint somebody so that we could do it here today. So we'll go ahead and do that. But we won't. When will we do that? I could do that during my report. There's no reason not to, except that doesn't give anybody else the other opportunities for the nominations. I'll wait, but I will do that because I think it's the right thing. Any questions or anything else for the chair? Yes. Dana answered that question. It's no, it's not new. Yeah. Right. It was a technicality I didn't think of when I put it on the agenda. So, but that's okay. We'll have an advisory vote, and I know the chair. He'll probably go with that.
Strong possibility.
It's a strong possibility. Okay. We are at fantastic. Introduction for EC candidates position 2. You're reading the wrong page. There we are. The membership committee. I want to talk about this one real quick, which I ended my report, but if you would indulge me for just a moment. Hang on just a moment. I see you back there. We have more members than we've had, and we're going to be doing something that's going to be testing our abilities, and that is a thing I call the welcome wagon. Whenever anybody ever does anything to help the Libertarian Party, we need to respond to it. The most important thing they almost ever do is register Libertarian. Right now, when you register Libertarian, nothing happens. I mean, it's crazy. At the very minimum, what should happen is you should get a postcard saying, "Thank you, welcome to the crowd." We're going to do that. That poses some technical challenges for us. The CRM, one of those technical things I was praising a moment ago, has its issues, and we have to resolve those, and we will resolve those. The state tells us when people register to vote, we'll reach out to them. We have an organization to do that. We can do that. And we'll also send them some information on how to get involved with their local folks. And if somebody changes their registration away from us, we should ask why. Why did we lose that voter? Maybe they have a good reason, but I suspect not. So, in any case, we're going to be doing that and some other things. But so that's the forward-thinking thing. I should have added that in there. Sir? Right. Very well. We shall attempt to make that the protocol. And I will attempt to repeat what was said. So I will start now. If you need to address the chair, please stand up, and the chair will attempt to repeat that back so everybody has heard it. All right. This brings us, we're actually just a few minutes ahead, so that would be a refreshing change. Is there anything? I'll take one more question if we have one. Sir.
Could people simply just give their name when they get up to move, make a motion, or make an inquiry? Because otherwise it's just a sea of kindly strangers to me, anyway.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Gentleman asked that you give your name when you stand up. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And your name was? Okay.
All right, Larry.
With that said, according to the agenda, last point 9 there, it's break time. I hear a motion to a break. Do I hear a second? Okay,
We print out.
time out. We're going to motion to return at 11:10. Let's be sure to do that.
That might be
All in
easier, although
favor?
I have to do.
All opposed?
We've got,
Motion carries.
I've got a different system now. We're gonna use a different